decided that the most important thing in the breakdown was safety of the players. So things that are like really important for the ref to call would be like holding your own body weight, not collapsing, and like making sure you're in a safe position.
Okay, so what I'll do is put anything to do with safety as number one. However, if we take the context of safety out of it and just assume that everyone is doing things as they should be or appropriately from a safety perspective, what then would be the next priority? Sorry?
Maybe just read out all of them and maybe say yes.
Think about it in the context of the game. Think about, put yourself in the shoes of a player. Let's see what you guys have. What do you guys have?
We had not permitting dangerous tackles, rolling away from the breakdown.
Okay, so we mentioned rolling away as the next priority. Did you guys have not rolling away?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so rolling away.
Where?
What else did we have?
Not having secure footing in a ruck, so like diving over.
Okay.
And not releasing the ball.
Not releasing the ball. Okay, so not rolling away. Collapsing the ruck or off feet. Let's just put off feet as a ruck.
These are all answers for one, right?
Yeah. And then the last one was not releasing the ball. Okay. So, from a referee's perspective, is there examples in the game where you can move away from anything to do with safety? No, safety is first priority for every referee. Okay. Number two, not rolling away. Is there any examples in a game when you can get away as a referee without calling, not rolling away?
The ball still comes out.
In sevens.
If
doesn't.
If like they're lying there and like the scrum half moves the ball so quick that like that they didn't like
interfere with the ball getting out as quick as it would have if
Wow, that was a mouthful, but it is bang on for what we're looking for. Okay, so if they did not interfere with the ball, what did we say? Moving as quick as it would have if they weren't there, right?
Yeah.
So this is probably the most important thing we'll learn today from the tackler's perspective. As it would have if they weren't there. So why? Why is that critical for us?
Because if the ball comes out without any issues, then and you call it, then it's just bringing them back when they had the momentum going forward.
Okay. But why are we putting such a high... Think about what the standard of that is for a tackler. What kind of standard is that for a tackler? Sorry? So my expectations of a tackler, okay, are that if you weren't there and the ball moves away that fast, okay, as soon as you land on the wrong side of the tackle and the ball is a fraction of a second later than what I think it would have been, do I call it penalty?
No.
Why not?
Because it's still gone out again.
Sure. But did the attacking team get to play the way they wanted to?
No.
Okay, so the one area of the game where we do not allow the defensive team to have any impact on slowing the game down is the tackler. Okay, especially in sevens. Okay, what's the secondary reason tacklers have an influence on the availability of the ball? So it's not just whether or not the ball carrier can place it, but what's the other one? They also impact who coming in? Support players. Okay, so they can impact how support players enter contact areas to effectuate the ruck or before or as the ruck is happening. What do we call it? We want to do what with the opposition? Clean out. Okay. So try and use the words that you guys use as much as you can when you guys go through practices and training. I know you might not clean the player out the same way as you would in 15s, where you're willing to let security of the ball not be a factor because you have other support players coming, and 7's a bit different, but you're still trying to clean that player off the ball. Okay. So, if the tackler at all influences A, the ability for the ball carrier to place it, or B, the ability of the cleaner to come and do their job, that player must be penalized. Must be penalized. That's why, if I've ever refereed any of your games and you've had a tackler not rolling penalty come, and you're like, I didn't have time, I'd be like, well, sorry. You still slowed the game down, right? Can't have that. So sometimes you get penalized. It's like 15s at scrum time. Sometimes you just get penalized for being bad at scrummaging, right? Sometimes you get penalized for landing on the wrong side of the ball, just because. And that's tough, but that's just the way the game is. Okay, so it's something as players we need to be able to adapt to. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, what about off feet at the ruck? Give me an example in a game where a referee can allow off feet at the ruck or not. Or is there any?
Well, if they're just diving into
when there's
the
no contesting.
Okay, so A, if there's no contest, and B, if...
if they're just like diving right into the ruck.
Okay, so...
You're injuring other players by doing that.
Okay, so that one we probably should be penalizing.
Yeah.
Right? But an example of no contest, can we allow the game to play on a little bit? Yeah, probably. Okay? So that's why off feet at the ruck I probably put as number 2 here. Okay? It's another example of something we can play away from. What about not releasing the ball?
Yeah, I think that's important to be called because then it's putting disadvantage to the other team for losing the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, so especially compared to 15s, this is where it's an interesting one. Because in 15s, I expect the ball carrier to what we say, the first defender, that we use the word survive the clean out. Although no one's dying on the field, no. But we use the word survive the clean out. So if you're able to have your hands on the ball the whole way through the clean out, then we're going to reward you as the defensive team. 7s, do we want to apply that same standard? It might be tough, okay? So we'll go outside and we'll look at some examples. But that's the only other area of the game where we just need to be careful that we're not relying on players to do all of the work. As a defender, we might need to help them as a referee. Okay, and we'll look at some examples of why that is. What about anything else? Any other laws that you guys had that fall into number 1? No? Yes? No? Yes? Entry? Entry?
Yeah, we do.
Number 1.
Never mind, I'll read them. I am. I was reading from bottom to top. What's the first one?
So some of those are both 1 and 2? Like in question 1 and in question 2?
Yeah.
So here's what I'll do is I'll show you. This one definitely falls in number 1.
Okay.
This one definitely falls in number 1. Okay? Except in a situation. How often does this happen? Not very much. Okay? Especially in sevens. Off feet at the ruck, number 2. Okay? Not releasing the ball, number 2. Entering the gate.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Well, because if you enter on the side, you could be blocking and interfering with the ball.
Okay. So I'm going to put it in number 2, and we'll go outside and we'll take a look at why. And part of the reason is we'll take a look at what does it mean to be in the side. Okay, and what does a referee look for are you in the side? Because there's some where if you take a measuring stick out, they're in the side. But my God, we're going to play on every time because it really doesn't impact who would have won the ball. Okay, and it's the other same as the off-feet piece, where are we looking at whether or not there's a contest on it? If there's no contest on and someone's in the side, do we really care? Probably not. Okay, so those are some examples of what we'll look at. All right. The rest of what we'll look at outside is going to have to do with when we look at all of these pieces around the ruck, okay, what is acceptable for body positions or body pictures for referees of body, what's the word I'm looking for? Body position over the ball. And then what as a cleaner can you do, what as a support player can you do, how can you then get the ball back. The one question I have before we go out there is, have you guys identified different ways of winning the ball back as a defense? What are some of the different ways we can do that?
Winning the ruck concept.
So, counter-rucking, okay? Important for us to know that. What's the other one? One more. What does your first arriving defender sometimes or most of the time try and do?
Carry ball.
Sorry?
Turnover.
Coach the ball, right? So jackal, coach,
Give me
whatever.
the name. Do it all the time.
Coach, jackal, blah, blah. Okay? So in the context of these are the two ways defenses nowadays try and win the ball back as a rep, what do we need to be aware of? Okay, so we'll take a look at that as well. So we'll look at both attacking and then defending and what is allowable and not allowable. And how can you get a referee to make a decision based on number 2 by gaining a little bit of an edge, knowing that you're not doing either one of those two things. The referee has to make a decision against you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Let's get ready to go outside.